Hi, this is Unchained CEO. Location independent income through your own location independent business, which we're going to talk about in great detail today on how you get that done. Also, setting up an international backup plan, or if you want, moving to a less bad country and setting yourself up for long-term freedom and stability. And I'm Caleb Jones. Today, we're going to profile at least 4, probably more. Billie and I will be doing this. Billie will be on in a few minutes. Several of our clients through the 90-day business builder program, and we will show you, and you'll hear from their words. They're going to be on video here or audio if you're listening to the podcast, exactly what they did. And several of them, one in particular was literally broke when he joined the program. I mean, he had like $400 left in his checking account. That's it. Couldn't pay rent. And now he makes thousands of dollars a month. Pretty good stuff. We have another guy who made $30,000 from his third client. Another guy who made $14,000 from his second client. He has got 4 more clients, all around $7,000. So you'll be hearing from all these guys in a minute. Really quick, before Billie comes on in a few minutes and we get to our main topic, something that is related to this. Those of you who watched or listened to my last podcast on AI, the AI problems that are coming several weeks ago, I said a lot in those podcasts. One of the main points I said was that if AI does indeed take over the world, and the odds are decent that it will, it may not. We don't know. We don't know. But if it does in a way that we think it might, and it may not work this way, we're guessing. This may not. This isn't like the collapse of the Western world, which is, I guarantee, will happen to you in your lifetime. AI is maybe this will happen, and maybe that'll happen, and maybe it won't, and we don't know. But if it does happen, what it'll do is it'll be a communist nightmare utopia where your skill sets do not help you. The reason you make more money than other people, if you do, is because you have certain skills other people don't. Well, AI is going to get rid of that, and everyone will be on a level playing field, and everyone will be in equal misery living in their studio apartments. So, and a percentage of humanity will love that. A percentage of lazy losers will love that. That'll be great. And the challenge is that when this happens, there will still be some scarcity. Who does AI choose to have the penthouse apartment with the view of the best view in the city? Who does that? How does it determine who gets that? Things that are scarce. Water won't be scarce, food won't be scarce, electricity won't be scarce, but these things will. So how is that determined? And what I said was, the thing that will most likely help you is how much money you have. And I said, you have, my wild guess is about 10 years to make as much money as you can before the economics change where you can't make any more money significantly. You'll be able to. Whatever you've got in 10 years is what you've got. Well, now other AI experts and technology experts, cryptocurrency experts are now making videos saying exactly that. So those of you who pay attention to Raoul Pal, he's a big guy in the crypto space. He just came out with a video 2-3 days ago. And the title of the video literally is, you have 6 years to make as much money as you can. He's saying 6 years. You'll say, that's a guess. It could be 8. I was saying 10. So I'm not the only one saying this. Billie, can you hear me? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Cool. I'll bring it on in a second. Awesome. What I'm going to do is I made the decision in about 2 weeks ago. I'm going to write another book, and I'm going to write it this year. The Unchained Man needs to be released, and we'll do that in a few weeks. We've nailed down a date. That's in the cards. That's going to happen. I'm going to write another book, a 5 Flags book, but it'll be something that I've not spoken about before in terms of these clocks that you have. At some point, the Western world is going to collapse. At some point, AI might take over the world. You only have a few years left. Whatever a few means. A few could be 20 years. A few could be 15. It could be 5. We don't know. So there will be a new book that I'm writing, and I can't talk about what specifically I'm going to discuss that book. It will be a 5 Flags book. It'll be something brand new I've not talked about publicly called the Fortress Model. If you went to my London seminar, we talked about it then. If you went to my Paraguay seminars, we talked a little bit about some of that stuff. So you guys got a sneak peek. Anyway, so that's coming, and it's coming this year. It needs to happen this year because this stuff is accelerating faster than I thought. So there you go. Billie, are you ready? I'm going to add you in. You cool? All right. Hi there.
Hello, Caleb.
How are you?
I'm Peachy Keen. How are you?
I'm good. I just donated blood, so like I'm a little sleepy. Just kidding.
I'm in full business auntie mode this morning.
I can tell you are. You're in full business auntie mode.
Full
So
auntie mode. Yeah.
what we're gonna do, Billy, is I have 3 interviews I'm gonna show, and I'm gonna play them, and then we'll pause and make comments. So as I play these videos, if you want to make a comment, just say pause, and I'll pause it because I'm gonna pause a lot and just make comments. It's the interviews I do with George, Jordan, and Grant.
Oh, great.
Yeah, and I'll do it in that order. And then if we have time, we may not, because they talked for a bit. Then we can talk about some other 90-day business builder case studies beyond them, because you and I can talk about a bunch more people than just those 3. But yeah, that's the agenda for today. Is there anything you wanted to say before I answer a few questions and get started about business builder in general?
Builder. For those of you who don't know, I teach a lot of the business builder, as do the different coaches from Boss Cooperative. And the thing that unifies us, and that I guess we're different than you, Caleb, we kind of obsess over the business builder. We're all like really big geeks for it. So even when we get together socially, we talk about the business builder. When I wake up in the morning, this is not a joke or an exaggeration. I used to be one of those like doom scrolling ADHDers, and I could piss away a whole morning on social media that I wasn't interested in. And I've replaced that with the business builder message boards. So that cures my dopamine fix in the morning. It gets me started on like a positive level, and then I can contribute something hopefully helpful as well. But I literally wake up and that's the first thing that I do is hang out with business builder. In fact, I just got off of a business builder call, which was excellent fun.
You did?
You
did. Didn't you? That's right. This Monday. You're right. You're right. Really quick, this is not going to be just an entire sales pitch for a business builder. If you never intend on ever buying business builder ever, that's fine. I want to make sure that what you're going to learn from the people we use in these case studies, they're going to show you exactly what they did, how they went about it, and they were all novices. They never had businesses before. One guy had a brand new business where he got 1 client, but he didn't know what he was doing. The other 2 guys never had a business before in their lives. They go through exactly what they did, the niches they chose, the problems they had, because this isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. You have problems, how they solve them, or how we help them solve them, and where they are now. So you'll learn a lot today about setting up your location-independent business the way we describe: narrow niche, find a problem, try to lean toward B2B if you can. We're going to discuss all that stuff. Answer a few really quick questions, and then we'll get started in like 1 minute. How many people do I need on my team in order to run the Alpha 2.0 business model optimally? Do you want to answer that, or do you want me to answer that?
As many as your business needs. Is it a business where you're setting up automations for someone else or for yourself? If you automate your business, do you need anyone else in it? Probably not. If you have, something really complex, you might need 10 people. It really depends on your specific needs. And what that's all about is, write a list of the things you don't freaking like doing, or the things that you feel take too much time. Make a list of those things and delegate them. And you just continually go through that process, whether you do it, as these subjects come up and you just jot it down and say, oh my gosh, I need someone else to do this. Or whether you're planning ahead and saying, next round, I'm going to do this again in, 6 months. And, we're going to dedicate time to this. It doesn't matter how you get to that end result, but essentially every step of the way, as an Alpha 2.0 business owner, we delegate as much as possible. We don't work in the business. We work on the business.
On the business.
You see the difference? I don't want to be the sole proprietor who does everything and all the coaching calls. And, I just don't want that, because that means the business owns me. And that's really what we're trying to get away from here. So do what works for you and start with the easy wins, the things you don't like.
And Billie is better at that than I am. She's better at delegating, because if I see something that needs to get done in my business, there's an overwhelming emotional need for me to go, all right, I'll just do it. And I shouldn't. I'd be like, no, so-and-so should do that. So-and-so should do that. Or I need to hire someone. Not me. I need to be running the business and been working on the business. Now, if you want specific numbers, the minimum we talk about here is $85,000 a year minimum for long-term happiness. You could do that by yourself, or maybe with one or two little helpers, depending on the structure and complexity of your business, like Billy said. Now, if you want the big money, if you want hundreds of thousands or a seven-figure income, you're going to have a bigger team, and that's up to you. It's not. And again, employee resistant. I have no W-2 employees, and I never want any. Now, that may change someday depending on the size of certain companies involved with. But that's the model. Is no. I have a number of people on my team. Billy has a very big team, but these are all subcontractors, virtual assistants, other business owners, things like that. Right. You don't want salaried employees.
Nope.
Right. Would you get citizenship in a country you couldn't renounce? Yes, unless it was the United States, because then you got to pay taxes everywhere else. Yes, I would. I don't care about that. Is this similar to the 90-day finance program? I do not have a 90-day finance program. I think you might be mixing me up with someone else. If you think you're not, then correct your question. Did you see Russia introduce their basically anti-woke visa program? I've heard about it. Russia is not a bad passport, actually. And there are ways of getting a Russian passport, winkety wink, that I wouldn't do, but you can. I have buddies in Dubai are like, oh, you get a Russian passport? No mind. You fly, you talk to Vladimir, and you just, Billy, do you have a fifth country in my? Oh, so I think I mentioned to them. I did. So, Billy, before this question, Billy, I mentioned unofficially that you're going to be in charge of the events pretty soon. Mm-hmm. So he's asking, do you have a fifth country in mind for the Get Residency programs?
At this point, we don't. We're actually going to scale back a little bit, and probably we aren't going to offer Armenia, simply because there hasn't been a huge interest in that particular country. We are investigating other countries, but I don't have anything planned for next year. What I am doing is really specializing in Paraguay. It's a place that's captured my heart, and we've developed a really big community there, which Caleb can totally attest to. Our Dutch friends invited us to a barbecue, for example, with 50 people.
It was awesome.
And I've done that, many times with this group and other groups of people. So I would much rather specialize and be able to give you the best possible information about one country than to spread it thinly and not provide a quality service. So that's what we're looking at. If you guys feel differently and you want to keep Armenia and you'd like us to add another country, reach out to us. It's billie@bosscooperative.com. Very simple. BILLIE at bosscooperative.com. And let us know if you feel strongly that we should go a different route or that there are countries you're interested in. And we'll definitely take heed of that.
Yeah. And you can tell me too, and I'll forward it to Billy. theonlyBlackDragon@gmail.com is my email. I agree with Billy. Billy's in charge of this now, or will be very shortly. What I would suggest, and Billy's in charge of this, is that yes, we doubled down on Paraguay. Hell yes. We should do more Paraguay stuff. We probably will next year. Matter of fact, Billy's got my travel schedule for next year. I'm going to be in Paraguay longer next year. I'm expanding. So we have that. Mexico, Dubai, and then the one that you guys generally talk about the most is the Philippines.
Oh, that's right. That is on my list. And we are doing investigation and speaking to legal teams right now.
Oh, cool.
Okay. Yeah. My right-hand man, Muhammad, is actually leading that charge.
Cool. Yeah. That is would be the one that I would have on my radar based on what I've heard you guys say. Mm-hmm. Now, again, if you have other ideas, then let us know. We do this for you. So, yeah, we just love Paraguay a lot.
Well, and we should, I think there's a huge value in being able to introduce you to a community such as we do. So on our first night in Paraguay, the second night in Paraguay, when everyone was rested, we had all of Caleb's clients and then a whole bunch of different service providers, real estate agents, expats from various countries. And we invited our Dutch friends who brought a few of their vendors and friends and clients. So we had this, 30-person dinner, just, an informal dinner so that we could
mastermind.
Exactly. And then we got to meet people. And what happened after that is the Dutch people invited us, all of Caleb's group, to the barbecue. And what happened after that is they took a couple of the guys to the gun range. They took me and a couple of other people to a brunch. So, we split off, and with our new friends did many different things. And I think there's huge value in that, rather than just saying, hey, go to this country. Well, we can say, hey, go to this country. Here are the ins and outs. Here are people from all different walks of life and all different countries who can share their experience with you, including families with little kids. Our Dutch friends bring over between 2 and 10 people every single week minimum.
Yeah.
And a lot of these are families with children. In fact, they just had their baby. Lester and Ann just had their baby on Friday. So
they did?
They did. So the very first Project Paraguay baby born down there. So it's a different vibe. We can offer so much more than I think most other people, and certainly more than we could a year or two ago.
And the quality of people that you meet at these networking events, and these it's not even networking events, it's just events we have. The quality of people you meet will blow you the fuck away. Everyone I've been to, when I meet new people, I'm like, oh my God. And I don't give out my phone number. And I don't get people's phone number because that's how I am. I'm like, give me your WhatsApp. I have more questions for you. That's how good these people are. In various legal people, expat people, residency people, finance people. I mean, just, holy shit. You'll see it if you come down here and join us. All right, we have a hustle really quick because I want to get to the case studies. One or two more questions. If I'm aiming for 85,000K per month, you said per month. I assume you mean per year. You said I need a minimum of 1 or 2. You don't need it. You can do 85,000 a year all by yourself. I don't recommend it, but you can. What position do you think is most crucial that I need them on the team? Bullshit admin work, email and paperwork, bullshit admin. You know what kind of work. Yeah, crap like that.
Anything that's repetitive.
Right.
If it needs to happen more than once, you do it. And this is sort of answering Will's question a bit later on, asking if it's better to do the work yourself when starting, if you have the skill set, or if you should outsource. If you know how to do it, or you want to learn the thing, or you don't have the budget, you learn the thing. And then what you do is create an SOP. So a video of, using Loom or whatever product you like, where you're going through the steps on your computer, and there's you and there's the screen shown, and you can explain. It's basically an explainer. Click here, this is how, this is why. And then you pass it on to someone else. Right? So as soon as you have the ability to pass it on to someone else, you do. Whether that's a fiscal ability, you're making enough money, or emotional, like, okay, I'm ready to let go of this. I'm ready to delegate and trust and try more. That flow is up to you as an individual. But the goal is that you are able to extricate yourself from those day-to-day tasks. And the way that you do that is by documenting everything that you do and everything that you learn, so you can just hand it over.
Right.
Caleb, how do you feel about that?
I'm going to summarize my answer really quick. We got to get started. So, and I see some other questions. We will rewind and do those at the end. I agree. If you know how to do it, go ahead and do it yourself and do an SOP. However, the danger with that is that you'll end up like me, which I had to unprogram myself. And you'll start doing everything because you know how to do everything. I can do almost, not quite, but almost everything in my companies personally. I may not do them well, but I can do them. It is better if I didn't know how to do them. Because then I'd be like, well, I have to hire someone to do this, and I can focus on the big tasks. The ones that are the most important, you have to learn how to do it. Like, should I learn how to do it and then I outsource it? Yes, if it's an income generating thing. So if it's setting up a website, no, you don't need to learn how to set up a website. Hire someone to do it. If it's running YouTube ads or doing a sales call, yeah, you should probably have a basic understanding of how that works, because when you outsource it, you'll be managing those people. Mm-hmm. So that's my spin on it. There is a sudden hiss. Is that on your end? Now it's gone. Now you're muted. Okay, that's fine. You can unmute yourself whenever you want. So Billy, I'm gonna play George's video first. I'm gonna stop and comment as he talks, because I'm in there too. If you want to pause and comment on something he said, just wave your hand or say pause or something. Okay. All right. So first, I'm going to bring on. I have 3 different videos to show you guys in terms of case studies. We'll start with George. George is the youngest of these 3 guys. George was 27 years old, from the UK, living in Lima, Peru. He's also doing 5 flags. Good for him. So because he's in Peru, similar to Paraguay, he doesn't need a lot of money to live pretty well. So he makes some money, but he doesn't need very much because he lives in Lima. But let me add that in here. So I am here. If you guys cannot hear that audio, if that's a problem, let me know. I should be able to hear it. Excuse me. Good? Okay. Excuse me. With George. And George is a really interesting story. And George, you're also one of the younger guys or younger people in an business builder. How old are you now?
Yeah, so I'm 28.
28. Were you 27 when you joined? Or were you 28? I don't remember.
I just turned 27 when I got into the program.
You just turned 27. Okay, cool. All right, got it. And tell people where you currently live and where you are from.
So, hi guys, I'm from England, and I'm currently living in Lima in Peru. And basically, I've been traveling for years, broke, and decided, well, it's time to kind of make a bit of money. So this is where I met Caleb and got myself into the program.
Cool. So really quick, you could start and have no money. I had no money when I got started. When I went full-time in my first full-time business, I didn't have any money. I was 24. I was younger than he was. I don't have any money. You don't need money to start this thing. Now, if you join the business builder, obviously you need money there. But you don't need money. And we talk about in all these cases, you'll see this. I asked, how much money did you spend on marketing? And they all said zero. But we're both in South America because I'm in Asuncion, Paraguay, so we could relate. We were just talking about time zones a minute ago. Okay, so you joined the program, and in like 3-sentence summary, what was the niche that you chose, and what is the service that you chose?
Yeah, so the niche I chose was helping Peruvian tour companies get more international clients. And my service to cover that basically is content writing with an SEO focus. Essentially gets their kind of websites ranked first on Google, so a prospective client will see their tour first compared to their competitors.
And this is, so to be clear, this is companies based in Peru that sell like tours for tourists going to Peru. Is that correct? Right?
Yeah, local tours or package tours around Peru.
Cool. Okay. Now you see how, I want you to notice how niched that is. He didn't go to travel companies. He didn't use travel agencies. That's not a niche. That's an industry. You see how niched he was? That's why it worked. So the more narrow you can niche, the better. Awesome. Okay. And then you got your first client. Matter of fact, you're still working with your first client on a monthly retainer, right? Is that correct?
That's correct. That's correct. Yep.
So how much per month? You started them out at a certain amount, and then you kind of ratcheted that up. So how much did you start per month with that client?
Sure. So we started last year for $300 a month. Now, on the program, we were talking a lot about making sure you charge good rates, but you have this thing about, okay, well, you've got no business, you've got to start somewhere as well. So
Right.
it's almost like you get something to get through the door, trust, they know you're legit, you do a good job. And really, since then, the relationship developed, more trust, more needs from the business. So we essentially scaled up the package a couple of times and are now on about $1,100 a month.
And that's
From
USD,
300.
correct? And that's in
That
USD.
is USD. Yep.
So really quick, he's now making from one client. He has more than one client. One client living in Lima, Peru, $1,100 USD, which is a lot in Lima, Peru, from his first client. Now he started at $300. And what we talk about is, and Billy, you can chime in if you want. What we talk about in Business Builder is you want to charge as much as you can. However, if you're nervous about your first 1 to 3 clients, and this is advice you can use, you can be very flexible about the pricing on the first 1 to 3 clients. After 3, no, your price is your price. But you can drop the price. You can work for free, just get the testimonials, the experience, and things like that.
And what we need to keep in mind with George is that Lima, Peru is a very different economy than London or the US, anywhere in the US. So $300 commitment from a Peruvian company is a big commitment. Being able to bridge that up to $1,100 per month is tremendous spend for a small Peruvian company.
Very good point. I didn't even think of that. Excellent point. Right. And that's just one client. And again, he started at $300. Now he's at 1,100, and he can keep scaling from there. A, he can scale that account because I've done this when I was doing consulting, and B, he can just add more clients now. Well, here's some more. Yeah, and that goes a long way in Lima, at least a lot longer than in the UK or the United States.
Oh, that's why I'm in Peru. That's why I'm in South America.
Exactly, right. That's the beauty. You're doing 5 flags on top of your business builder, right? Okay, so you start at 300 a month, which you're right is low, but you're now at 1,100 a month, and you've been working with them how long? Months, many months, right? How long have you been working with them?
We'll be on about 8 months now.
Yeah, almost a year. Okay.
At the 6-month mark, we got a testimonial. I got a testimonial, which was like the
Cool.
icing on the cake, basically.
Yep. Awesome. Okay, cool. Okay, then, and this is, to be clear, this is someone in the niche, right? This is a Peruvian tour company, right?
The owner, yeah. Well, the
It's
company.
the owner. Okay, great. Got it. Okay, perfect. All right. Then you got another client, but you had a problem. Correct?
That is correct. Yes.
So you don't have to go into detail about that unless you want to, because this is valuable information for people. Sometimes you get your first 1, 2, 3 clients. I talked to someone a few days ago who had a similar experience, like a second client, and it doesn't quite work out. Was it catastrophic? Like, oh my God, I had this problem and now I have to end my business and go back and get a job.
There was potential there. There was potential, especially on reputation. I mean, without going kind of too long tale story of
just summarize the problem and summarize how you resolved it.
So the issue was everything from my side, what I was delivering was great.
Mhm.
The issue was on the business's side that there wasn't, let's say, good infrastructure like website infrastructure security in place. So
okay.
there ended up being website issues, we can say.
Yeah.
And we had
This kind of thing is relatively common when you have clients in lower end countries, Latin America, parts of, Southeast Asia. If you have African clients, some of that's par for the course. It's not a big deal.
to end for that reason, but it got a bit kind of hostile communication. Now, I could easily sit back and say, well, listen, that was the company's problem, not mine. But I like to try and take responsibility where possible. So I thought, well, do you know what? That's my fault for not, listing some kind of guidelines and expect.
George is a good guy. He takes responsibility, which is what I talk about over my other channel. Everything in your life is your fault. Fantastic. I love the way he handled it. Perfect. This is why he's successful, because he has more clients after.
About how we treat each other. So it was hard in the time, but I learned very quickly. You've got to set boundaries before you start working together.
Yes.
Very clear the what we do, what we don't do. Most importantly. So having learned from that, now I'm doing my marketing. I'm very kind of clear on what I don't want, and screening people that way. And overall, I just feel a little more relaxed about getting another client in, knowing that if things do go wrong, I've got set steps that I follow to kind of just clear it up quickly.
So I want you to understand what he said and remember what he said. Once you get your first 1 or 2 clients, you go through these problems, your confidence goes up. And now you can get new clients more easily. It's your first client where you're scared. That's what we do in business, but we help people get over that hump. But your first client's your scariest one. And then once you get your first 1, 2, 3, you're off. You take off like a rocket.
And I think George did something incredibly important. And I remember talking to him on the message boards and on the business builder calls about this. What do I do? Do I keep the client? Do I work through this? Do I let them go? And my advice was fire them. You can fire clients.
Fuck yeah.
It's no different than dating or buying pants. Not everything's the right fit. That's okay. And because he let go of that client, not only did he learn those lessons, but I'm sure he'll tell you what happened next.
Yeah. And you've got more clients now, but I have imagined now from that experience, you have kind of a structure of when you onboard a new client, setting certain expectations and maybe things you check and things like that. Is that accurate? Because of that experience?
Yeah. So in terms of my kind of screening process, it's more the feeling I get. It's the feeling you get.
You check your gut.
Somebody.
It's a gut feel.
I'm a gut feeler. There are other things, of course. You look at like the budget of the company. Unfortunately, I've learned the lower you charge, the more issues you will probably get.
I've said
Yeah.
that 10,000 times. That's exactly right. Yes.
So I do a lot more,
Again, that's why we tell you to charge as much as you're comfortable.
let's say, lead gen work. Some more work on finding out information about the company. Are they a good fit for me? But also, am I a good fit for them? Because it's not just about me getting everything I want. I want to make sure they're feeling happy and they're also able to pay what they can pay me. So
Right.
I
Great.
find all that information out before, and then in the first chat, I know very quickly, okay, this is going to work, or we should part ways.
Got it. So you're better qualifying. Okay, perfect. Good. And then you got your now, did you make any money from this problematic client, or did you not make any money? Did they end up paying you anything or no?
Yeah, we
Never
did. Yeah, we were on a
So
routine
you made some
like
money.
4 months.
Oh, you
Yeah.
did. So for 4 months you made some money. I didn't know that. Oh, that's cool. All right.
Yeah,
Great.
4 or 5 months. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
So even on a screwed up client, he made 4 months of retainer. So even shitty clients, you get money. It's not like he didn't make any money or lost money because he hasn't spent any money to get these clients. We'll talk about that in a minute.
So you did make money. So okay. So at least you made money. Great. So then your third client, let's see. When did you get them? Are they new, or have you had them for? Oh, you've had them less than 2 months, right?
Yeah, so we're 1 month in now, and basically around the time I was having issues, I was thinking, I need more clients.
Yes.
I cannot depend on one good client and one not so good client. So
Right.
I was doing all of my marketing through cold calls, but now being in the city or being in the country, because I was traveling for quite a while, so being back in a country where my business is serving,
Mhm.
I kind of took advantage of being there physically, and instead of doing cold calls, I would just visit the branches. I'd go there in person, all guns blazing, and see what would happen. Um, you could call it dumb luck. I don't know how it happened, but just the first one I went into,
It's not luck. It's
um,
not luck. It's you're taking action, you're getting results. It's not luck, but go ahead.
exactly. So I mean, I walked in there thinking, well, this is dumb luck, but the first one kind of hit it off. After another follow-up meet, shook hands and started working together. So
So they're on monthly retainer as well?
yeah, similar monthly retainer, but a higher kind of, I think, higher cost or something.
So it's how much you making per month now, and then what was the future of that account from this new client?
So what will I make in the future? Like currently with a discount?
Yeah. So currently, what are you charging now, and then what's the plan for the future for that? Because I've imagined. Well, I don't want to put words in your mouth. Yeah,
Just for that client or in total?
just for the client, for the new one you're talking about.
So for that new one, I think it's $350 a month discount period, and
Okay.
then we'll move up to 750. But I've obviously got ways I can layer that up in time. But
Okay.
750 is kind of what's agreed upon after the discount
750
period.
within how many months? 750.
A couple of months. Yeah.
2. Okay, got it. All right. So
So to be clear, what he's doing is, and again, if I were him, I'd be charging more, but that's fine. And he's in Lima, and it's a Lima company. They're about $350 a month for 2 months, and then they go to $750 a month after that. So within about a month, he's gonna be making $750 plus $1,100 a month USD in Peru with 2 clients. And we'll get to bigger numbers in a minute. We talk to the other guys, but
right now you're making around 1,500 USD a month total in
Yeah,
Lima, Peru.
about $1,500 US.
Yeah. Okay. Which again in Lima, Peru ain't bad. And you don't get a job. Yes. And you're right. You have to charge. That's one change I would make. But you and I have talked about this. You got to charge more you got to charge more. But you're right. I've also said your first 1 to 3 clients, you can be as flexible as you want on pricing. And then on client number 4, which is kind of where you're at, then you jack up the price, and that's what it is. And then you get more comfortable charging higher prices. So these are going to be the lowest price clients you're ever going to have in your life. It's going to go way past this.
right.
You'll see when you get your next client. You'll be like, oh, this is a lot more money. Because you've also done it, right? You have a lot more confidence in clients now than when you first started the program.
Billy, go ahead.
So one other thing I'd like to add to this is George not only got money and experience doing this, he also got a free tour with one of the companies to do like a really awesome week-long trip.
Oh.
So Yeah, so sometimes there is a non-monetary compensation as well. And that's something that George really valued. So, keep that in mind as well. There can be some element of barter and there can be non-monetary exchanges.
That's happened with several people in the program, especially the ones that are dealing with more fun niches. But even the ones that are kind of boring, you get barter, you get free stuff. And I've gotten stuff from doing consulting and work with companies. And so, yeah, that happens. Yeah, cool. I didn't know that. Cool.
And you got that first client.
Well, this is why I think it's important. Like, I know you can take it quite personally, the ego, like, oh, wow, am I really charging that little? Or sometimes even free, like a
Yeah.
free client for a testimony. But that testimonial was so important. I had so after 6 months with my first client, I got my testimonial in. And since I've been doing, marketing now, I'm charging a lot more, during the consultation process. And they're saying, have you got any proof? And I show the consultation. I just watch their face like, ah, this guy
Yeah.
actually does
Yeah. I
business.
remember going through that myself. Yeah. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. Yes.
And the first time I felt that, I was like, wow, this is actually working, Yeah.
Are you planning on staying in Peru for the long-term future? You are, right? Or no?
Yeah, I'm currently sorting my residency. So when I started the program, I actually had issues with
Visa,
obviously
right?
financial issues and not having a place to stay. So
Mhm.
I've kind of managed to get everything solved in 1 year, which is
So
great.
you were, wait, 1 second. You were literally broke, right? When you first started, you were broke.
Yeah, I literally
Accurate?
spent, I think I had about $400 after I spent on the program fee.
Oh my gosh.
So,
Okay. All right.
and that,
Just full disclosure, I didn't know that. And I don't like taking money from people who are literally on their last legs. I didn't, and people don't tell us, they tell us later. There's been some other people who have joined the business builder, and that's literally the last hunk of money they have. And they're like, they have to make it work, or they're also gonna be homeless. He didn't have a place to stay. He had $400, and now he's fine. Billy, go ahead.
I didn't know that either. George, you are a stinker if you're watching.
Yeah.
What a stinker you are.
Yeah.
But fortunately for George and everyone else in the program, coaches like myself and Jeff, the main accountability coach, and the others are so rabid about this. We want you to succeed more than anything. So we'll make it happen. But if we'd known that, man, that's
I
no
didn't know.
pressure, right, guys? No pressure. Thanks.
Yeah, and I've turned down this is just when you have your own business, you decide how you want to make this work. And neither Billy and I are just hurting for money either. But I've turned down business where people say, I want to buy your course or I want to buy your thing. And all the money they have in the world, they have no income, is how much the course costs. I'm like, dude, don't do that. Get a part-time job, get stable, and then buy my thing. But it's usually, like I said, they don't tell us until after the fact. So hilarious.
that money I had to then obviously have ready because I was not in Peru long term. I then had to go to Bolivia on the border hop, spent 3 months there, then back. So I was very,
Really quick, one of the reasons he had that delay between the second client and the third client is because he went through these problems. You're going to hear from all three of these people today that we're going to do the case studies on. All three of them, I'm pretty sure, had these big delays in the middle of Business Builder because they had something going on in their life. And we're flexible. It's a 90-day program, but we're flexible about if something comes up in your life, you could pause and come back. So all three of these guys had big problems in the middle of starting their business, and they were still successful, and they still made money because it's not that hard.
teetering on the edge. But I was determined to make it, and
Good.
obviously great coaches like yourself helped me get there. So
Well, and you've made that money back, and now you've got set monthly income, and it's well. Let me confirm the income you have now, even though you started visiting offices, that is location dependent. So when you go back to visit friends and family in the UK, the income keeps coming in, and you keep doing the work, right? Is that true?
income keeps coming in, and also the marketing efforts can be done from abroad. So
Right. So let's talk about
So-
that. This is my favorite question to ask guys. How much money did you spend on marketing or running advertising or any of that stuff to get these clients?
So I spent a grand total of $8 a month, um, which is very nice,
For what?
especially when you've got a low budget.
For what?
Um,
What's the $8
I
a month?
so actually I'm not doing it now. It's actually $0 a month now. But when I was first doing cold calls, I was doing it through Skype. Um, and anyone kind of looking at international, I recommend that because you get very good deals with Skype.
Yeah.
like 300 minutes a month, and
Yeah.
you only need like 15 minutes for that first initial call, and then WhatsApp or something. But yeah, only $7 a month, but now it's zero because I'm walking in.
So $7 a month grand total marketing costs for thousands and thousands of dollars a month on a retainer. You're going to hear this from all three guys. Zero marketing dollars spent. Now you can spend money on marketing and business builder. You can run ads if you want. You start a business, but you don't need to. I didn't spend any money on this online business for like several years because I did all free stuff. So you don't need money to get started. You can, but you don't need it.
Right.
Yeah.
So your grand total to get, so you're at, over $1,000 a month, ongoing income for several months now, and your total marketing costs were about $7 a month for Stripe.
The Skype. Yeah.
Not Stripe. Sorry, I got Stripe because I use Stripe. Skype. Yeah, I used to use Skype before Zoom. Yeah. Awesome. So you spent essentially no money. This didn't cost you any money to get these clients. You spent no money other than the Stripe costs.
Yeah, practically nothing. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. What would you say to someone who, so when people look at 90-Day Business Builder, there's kind of three categories. There's people who say, I'm never going to do that. There's people who say, I'd love to do that, but I can't afford it. And then there's people in the middle who say, I don't know. I'm not sure. I can't decide. What would you say to those people who are on the fence based on your results and your experience in the program?
So I would compare it to other things that happened in my life before, like dating, going all in with dating, whether it's money, whether it's whatever goal or dream you have. Essentially, what always takes me over the edge, if you're thinking about it, is if I don't do this, where will I be in 5 years' time?
Mm.
And the fear that created for me of me being in the same position I was in now was just unacceptable. So I would say just sit by yourself, think about that for 20 minutes. Where would I be if I don't do this? And the fear is a good thing. Obviously, we try and avoid fear every day, but that fear can change your life. And just look at me. I was broke, and I threw myself in, did everything the coaches told me to do, put myself on the line, nervous, calling companies, stuttering, all of that stuff.
I remember you when you started. You were nervous. I remember that. I distinctly remember how nervous you were. Yes, but
I
you
was
did
nervous, but yeah, I forced myself to speak up, and I still do.
It's okay to be scared. It's okay to be nervous. I was nervous when I got started. Most people are nervous when they get started. It's okay. You will still make a lot of money. You just got to proceed through and then you won't be nervous anymore.
These meetings and stuff, and it's like it's a moment of uncomfortable, but your life improves, and I just think about that basically.
Are you an introvert or an extrovert?
So I've done those tests before. Those
Yeah.
are they called insight tests or something?
You're hard to place.
I'm an ENFP apparently.
You're an ENFP. Okay. All right.
So I get my energy. I mean, I disagree with that because I get tired quickly from talking with a lot of people.
Yeah, you have a lot of introverted traits. So you're not an extreme extrovert at all. You're kind of on the low end of extrovert.
I don't know. To be honest, I don't really follow that stuff, but apparently it's the ENFP for those that are interested.
Okay. Right.
Everybody, not everybody, a lot of people seem to think that my stuff only works for people who are just like me. I'm an extreme INTJ robot man. Most people in my audience, most people who follow the structures that we talk about here at Unchained CEO and my other channel are not like me at all. They're extreme extroverts. They're very different personalities. These models work regardless of what your personality is. They're not personality. That's why I asked him that question.
Cool. This has been great.
Billy, do you want to say something?
Yeah. My internet is unstable, so hopefully we can get back on camera.
Okay.
But what I wanted to add is has just escaped my mind. Damn it.
Sorry.
No, we're good.
You good? Sure.
If
Was it about introvert, extrovert?
Oh, yeah. We have so many different coaches in the program, and all of the coaches have different personalities as well.
Right.
So you're not, we're hearing Caleb, and we all share the same messaging as Caleb. We have the same beliefs, but we come from different perspectives and have different personalities. So, there's always going to be a coach or two that you resonate with.
Correct. I forgot about that. Thank you.
Very excited. You have a very bright future because not only are you doing business builder, you have a business that's making money. You already got and we've talked about this, the program, the first 1, 2, 3 clients the hardest. And then from that point forward, it's a lot easier.
Right.
That's the phase you're in now. It's going to start getting a lot easier. You'll start making a lot more money and with a lot less stress and worry because you've already done it 1 or 2, 3 times. Yeah. But see, also, you're also doing 5 flags like I am. So the beauty is, you know this better than most people. You don't need a lot of, I mean, if you want to make a lot of money, you should, but you don't need a lot of money when you live in South America or spend most of the year there. You don't need a lot of money to live pretty well. So that's awesome. Great. Thank you very much. This has been great.
That's why I like George a lot. I mean, I like all our guys, but I like people even more when they do 5 flags on top of this. I'm in Paraguay. I just put a payment down for my year-round apartment here. It's a 1-bedroom, a big 1-bedroom apartment in the nicest part of the entire country, $6,000 for a year, US. My house in Dubai was $9,000 a month. My apartment here in Paraguay is $6,000 for a year. That's how much cheaper it is.
It's unbelievable. And when he says the nicest neighborhood in the country, there's no exaggeration at all. You're a couple blocks away from the Porsche dealership, like 2 very fancy, brand new, sparkling malls like we don't even have in the U.S.
Yep.
Yeah. So $500 is more than the average person in Paraguay makes in a month, by the way. To put that $1,100 from that one client into perspective, if you're in Paraguay, that's your bills, man. Easy peasy.
Hey, Billy, do you want to answer? We have a question. How did George get to know that there are companies looking for this specific type of service? Do you want to field that, or I could?
Sure, I'll give it a shot. The first thing that we do as part of Caleb's programs, and most of the work we do, is to find a niche. So we identify niches and Caleb can talk a little bit more about the qualifications. I'm sure you guys have heard it before, but they have to have a problem that they are aware of. They need to be able to pay you. They need to be in an industry that is not dying. So we help them create this list. And for each person, that's very individual. And George happened to have an interest in travel writing. And in his case, it was something he was already doing a little bit or kind of trying to do, but was getting some piecemeal assignments. He'd never really had clients of his own, to the best of my knowledge. So in his case, he knew he was interested in that, but didn't know what they needed, what was a problem. So part of this is going through a validation process where we cold call. And George probably talked to 40 different business owners to understand what are the difficulties, what costs them time, what costs them money, how do they get their clients, is it working for them, etc. So really what we do is we get on the phone and we ask people what's going on.
These are not sales. Well, really quick, these are not sales calls.
No.
You're not selling, so it's a lot easier. You're asking them, you're assessing. It's like a market research. What are your problems? What are your concerns? What do what's driving you crazy? And you ask, and you look for, we have a whole system of this business, but you look for consensus over several different people telling you the same problem.
Right. We're just looking for patterns to emerge from those phone calls.
Right.
And as we see those patterns emerge, that tells us what the business is we should create. And if we can't address problem number 1, we move on to problem or expense number 2.
Right. I've said this 10,000 times. The reason most people don't make money in a business is they say, I'm good at this, so I'm going to do this for these people. How do you know they want that? You have no fucking idea. The better way to do it is to identify a narrow niche, ask them what their biggest problem is. If you hear a lot of people then say the same problem, boom, that's what you do. A coaching, consulting, or service that helps solve or alleviate that problem. Then it's difficult to not make money. Honestly, it's difficult to not make money if the market already wants what you're selling. So that's.
And here's what we see happening a minimum of once a month. And this literally just happened the other day. I got the report Saturday morning that guys are doing their outreach, guys and gals are doing their outreach calls for validation. They're talking to business owners or they're talking to the gatekeeper, receptionist person. And on that call, they say, man, if you could fix XYZ, I would pay you for that. And you say, yo, really, give me a couple of days to think about this and put a plan together and I'll circle back. Yep. People are landing clients as they're just trying to learn what problems are.
Exactly right. We've had many, many people do that, the program in phase 1 where they're still figuring out the niche. They get clients. It's happened many times. We love it. That's not the model. We don't guarantee that'll happen, but it happens all the goddamn time. People go, really? You can help me with that? How much do you charge? And you're like, let me get back to you. Can they go talk to us? Yes, that's
Exactly.
exactly
And it might not even be in the direction you thought it would be going.
right. It often
Right.
isn't. Who cares?
Right. You might have heard from 3 other guys that buying widgets was the problem. But guy number 4 says, I will pay you to handle recruitment, whatever
Yeah.
it is. Exactly. So if somebody has money in their hand and they say, I'd pay you to do this, you say, okay, and you build your business around it.
Right.
But that's realistically the long answer to a very simple question. How do you get to know? You just ask people.
Right. All right. This is someone new now. This is Jordan. So Jordan was a little different than the typical model. Most people come in the program with no business at all. That's what it's designed for. Designed for you if you have no idea what you want to do for a business. That's now some people, a lot of people actually come into Business Builder and they kind of have an idea of what they want to do. Sometimes they go for it. We move them in a different direction. So Jordan, he'll describe this. He didn't have a business. He did one thing. He got a hunk of money from one thing. He's like, oh, I need to get more clients doing this, but he didn't know how to get clients. So then he joined the program, but I'll let him explain. Well, hi there. I'm here with Jordan, who was in the Business Builder program actually about 2 years ago, maybe not quite 2 years ago, something like that. 22 to 20, late 22 to early 23, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll let you introduce yourself in a sec, but Jordan was in a slightly different scenario where you had kind of a business or a business idea. You had one client, but you didn't know what to do and how to get more client, right? I don't want to put words in your mouth. Is that exact? What was the structure before you joined the program?
Well, all those words you put in my mouth were right,
Got it.
because that was true. I had learned about ghostwriting, writing books for other people, because I learned pretty quickly that nobody's going to pay me to write my own books. I learned that. And I learned that first time when I was playing in a band, and the sound guy made $5,000. We all made $100 a piece. I'm like, wait,
Yeah.
that's how you make money. You sell the
Yeah.
shovels to the gold miners, right?
Yep.
So I was like, okay, well, people pay money for writing a book for them. How do I get into that? And I kind of looked up, and I got a $24,000 client off of Upwork, and I realized pretty quickly that's not normal. And then I got another referral through a friend of a friend of a friend, just put me in touch with a guy. He paid me $50,000 to write a book. And I was like, okay, well, there's a proof of concept. How do I get in front of more people? Because these weren't things I could really repeat, because Upwork, that dried up pretty quickly. They changed back with Elance, you could make some money doing that. And then they were like, you can only send out 30 connects every shooting out.
Right.
But so that was my problem. Like, I had something that was proven, and I had some experience under my belt, but I didn't know how to get in front of these people, because this is a really high ticket thing. It's very niche. It's very personal. How do you get in front of people that are looking for that? I knew they were out there, but I didn't know how to get in front of them. I'm bad about what Caleb talks about. Is I want to work on my little widget. I want to work on my little thing. And I knew the marketing from consuming Caleb's content the marketing was going to be the biggest part. I was like, what do I do? Where I'm willing to spend money, but I don't know. I don't want to burn through $10,000 and have nothing to show for it. So,
got it. So you understood, you had a business idea, you had 1 or 2 clients, you joined the program in order to get more clients and figure out how to systematize getting clients. Is that right?
And to see if I needed to adjust my niche, because I knew from your content the niche is important. And I thought, well, maybe am I looking in the wrong place? Do I need to go more business books? Do I need to go over here? Do I need to do this? It was just kind of a way to make sure I was going down the right path.
So you had no idea what niche to use when you joined?
I kind of had an idea. But you guys solidified it for me, because I had written written several kinds of books. But the last 2 were like memoirs for older people who want to tell their life story. I was like, well, that's where it seemed like the money is, but I wanted to make sure that wasn't a fluke.
Got it. Okay, cool. Yeah. Okay, so then you joined the program in November of 22. Yeah. And then early the next year, 2023, you got, let's see, you got a client, correct me if I'm wrong, book deal client, $14,000, right?
Yep.
Cool. And so how did that work? Did you get one check for $14,000? Did you do half up front and half? I'm seeing several comments. Yes. If you just joined the live stream late, I am playing a recording of myself. this is not my twin brother, and this is not me from a parallel universe.
After you finish the book, how did that work for you?
I wish it was all up front, man.
Yeah, usually isn't.
Well, it was since at the point I didn't have a portfolio, because with ghostwriting, most things are under NDA, which sucks.
Right.
Because you can't
Right.
prove. You go to somebody and be like, "Pay me $30,000." They're like, "Get out of my face, scammer," because
Right.
you can't prove it. But I went to Rotary Club meetings at Billy's, the one that turned me on to that, and it's also in your like how to get clients course. But I was like, that's not location independent. I don't want to do that, but I should have done that. But I got in front of the guy at a Rotary Club meeting, and I gave a speech, and the guy came up to me and was like, "Hey, I want to do this for my dad. How much does it cost? When do we get started?" So like a week or two later, I asked for a 10% down payment because I was terrified.
Now, really quick, notice how easy it was to get a client once he put himself out there. So George, literally the first time he asked someone, got a client. Same thing here. He just does a meeting and he gets a client. It's not that hard once you're niched and you're doing it and you're getting out there.
I gave him a stupid discount because I was like, I never done this.
And again, they're similar models. They're discounting their first few clients, which is fine. 1 to 3 clients, you give discounts, that's okay.
And he was like, the funny part about it is he says, "I'll write you a check for $1,400, right? 10% down." And he comes back from his office and he goes, "Well, my wife's got the checkbook." I was like, I'm sunk. I'm done. So he told me to get out because I went to their store. They own a little appliance store. I interviewed his dad. Really cool people. And they're like an hour away from where I live, so it's no big deal. 0 ad spend, $0. And I was like, I'm sunk. He says, "Wait a minute. The bank is right down the road. Do you accept cash?" I'm like, "I will see
Yeah.
if you bring me an envelope full of cash." So yeah, he gave me the down payment, and then we broke it up and did it. It was, I can't remember how long we did it, but it was in installments.
Installments over X number of months when you wrote the book.
Yeah, because
Did you end up getting paid in full, 14 grand?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, good. All right, good. And then in the middle of all this or after this, I don't remember the timing, you had got another client for another $7,000, right?
Yeah, it was actually a lady I interviewed for this $14,000 project. She was from the old guy I was writing the book about. He's from New Mexico originally, and I live in Georgia. And so I interviewed this lady from New Mexico, and for the dedication was about his mom who passed away. She reads the book after it comes out because he goes back to New Mexico every year and he handed out free copies. She got it, she read it, and she knew who I was already from the interview. She called me up just last week. She's like, "Hey, I love the book. I want to do this for my husband and myself," because her husband is big in the rodeo. He was a world champion.
Really quick, he's talking about referrals. So once you get a few clients, clients refer you and it starts snowballing. This is what happened to me when I started my first consulting company. 1 to 3 clients, a little difficult, and then you get referrals and it gets easy. Go ahead.
That was the truth for me too. I got my first client intentionally, but since then I have never advertised my services. Caleb found me, on a fluke, literally, and that's how most of my clients just come from referral. I've never ever advertised myself until recently when we put up a website because Caleb made me.
And Billy makes a lot of money. Billy makes more than the vast majority of you listen to the sound of our voices. She does very well without any marketing. Now, I'm more aggressive about this stuff, but that's how this works. And the beauty of referrals is they're free. They cost nothing.
Years ago, people still talk about him in rodeo circles. I had no idea who the guy was. But yeah, she's like, she already knew the original client. She knew how much it cost. So I couldn't say, "Oh, $30,000. That would be a jerk." So I was like, "Well, I'll do it for the same price as the other people." She's like, "Oh, okay. Well, can I send you? Let's do half up front and then do the rest of it in installments." So I was like, "Yes, ma'am." So she sent me a check for. I'm actually waiting on it now because she's 82 and she doesn't trust online payments.
The internet, yeah.
But I confirmed with her that she did send it out and it's on the way. By Pony Express, I guess.
Right.
And in Georgia, the USPS is awful here lately, so I should get it.
It is?
Yeah, like I was doing some seminars for book coaching locally. That's a whole nother story.
Yeah, I want to talk about that next. But yeah, I didn't realize that the U.S. Postal Service was crappy in Georgia.
Well, it has been like they were sending out postcards to
Yeah.
the people who are members of the art center where I was doing the seminar, and they got there 2 weeks after the event.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
fantastic. So there were like 5 people who showed up, and there's like 40, 50 people. Like, I would have loved to have gone. I'm like, thanks, government. Collapsing Western country, right? And
Yeah,
it's
of course.
like I
Yes. I
say,
mean, you're singing my tune. Yeah. Now there's something else. So then you touched on this because this is to me your really exciting idea, or actually not idea, it's business. So now you are now doing book coaching.
Yeah.
And you've gotten several clients all around a $7,000 price point for that, right?
Yeah.
So like $7,900, $7,000, like that's per client, correct?
Yeah.
And so how does that look? Is that like a coaching package?
So this sometimes happens, and Billy, you're probably more aware of these cases than I am, but you get your first 1 client or 2 clients, and then you go, you know what? It'd be a lot easier if I did this instead. And you just quickly pivot. So now he's racking up, I think he's got 4 of these clients now, where he coaches them on how to write a book instead of him writing it himself, which is better. And they're $7,000 each, whatever 7,000 times 4 is, plus the fact that he's doing ghostwriting on top of this. That's why coaching is so awesome, especially when you're niched.
Yep. That is $28,000 just from those coaching clients.
Right. And that doesn't count what he's making from his ghostwriting stuff.
Exactly.
So he can now do both. So he's setting up multiple income streams like I've talked about 10,000 times.
Right. That's exactly what I was going to say, is that I always talk about setting up various tentacles within your business empire. Right. So that's exactly what he's doing. He's adding another separate service.
Right. And notice how fast he did that. He did that pretty quickly within the first few clients. And sometimes that happens. And that's fine. Whatever makes you money and keeps you in the niche, it's fine. They buy from you, or is that a set agenda you have? Are you doing hourly, or what? How are you doing that?
no, I took your advice early on. I don't do anything hourly.
Good.
Thank
pain.
God. I'm glad you said that. Good. Nothing hourly. Right. Good.
10 minutes down the road is this art center, and I give these classes for memoir writing. And it's usually older people that have money. There's one guy, big real estate guy.
Really quick, that's his niche now. Old people, because who has money? Old people who have money and are bored and want someone to write their life story. If you're a ghostwriter, that's like the best niche on earth. That's fantastic. And he could niche further. He kind of is, because he's kind of regional, but perfect.
Here owns half the town. There's another guy, Gulfstream, where they build the private jets.
Yeah.
Like an hour away from me. One of the guys that signed up for the classes works at Gulfstream. He's probably knocking out $300K. And he took one of the classes, and at the end of it, it's the point of the class is not to get money from teaching the class, because it's minimal pay. I don't charge much. It's to get clients off the back end.
Yeah.
And
And so your niche, so wait, real quick. Your niche then that you decided to focus on is older people with money who want to write their life story, or have someone write their life story. Yes, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So
And
continue.
for a bigger reason than just look at me, look how cool I am. Because that people usually don't spend the money on that. Nobody's that narcissistic. It's usually for their family or for their God or for business, the bigger reason than just write the story. They want a bigger result.
Got it.
So that guy, one of the guys, he had taken a couple classes from me, because it's structured as an intro class and an advanced class. At the end of the advanced class, I'm always letting them know, like, I might be pushy, like, hey, you can hire me, because after this is the end of the class. We don't do any more classes. So he's like, okay, cool, I want to do this. And I met with him at his house about an hour away, and he wrote me out a check for $7,900. Like, here you go. And
$7,900 to have you show him how to write his own book?
Oh yeah. Sorry, I should have got to that. It's basically what you guys do. It's like you coach us, you coached me through how to build the business. So I coach him. He does the work, and I give him feedback piece by piece and help him structure it. And I do the formatting and the editing and all the stuff that nobody wants to do, because everybody loves to do the writing. Nobody wants to do the actual work.
Right. Exactly right. I'm a writer. Exactly
You
right.
know,
Yes.
the Unchained man. So yeah, and then the formatting and to help get published, because I got a partner. I partnered up with the company on LinkedIn. I met them. And
Really quick, there are people in 90 Day Business Builder, and I've encouraged this, and I say you can copy what we're doing. You can copy the structure that we're doing in Business Builder. You can copy the structure I've used in other places. You just take your niche that I'm not, don't use the same niche I am. You can't do that, but your own niche, and you can. That's kind of what he did. He used the business builder structure, made notes of how we do business builder, and he just cloned that over into a different niche. And then we have several people doing that, and that's fine. We encourage that. Copy us. Great.
And they do like
You want something, Billy? No? Okay.
book promotion. They can try to get you on the USA Today list and all, because that's another a unique selling proposition that I have. I don't just write it for you. I can help you get it marketed. So these people, if I get in front of them and show them that they can trust me, especially for older people, that's a big thing.
Now, really quick, the one thing I would have him change, and I told him this, is that you do this in a location-dependent fashion. So instead of doing a class, you could very easily do a free Zoom course or a Zoom course for like $5 or something and do the same exact thing and get clients that way. So just make it more location-dependent. But again, however you get your first few clients, I don't care. Get your first few clients, then you can tweak later.
Right.
It's not location independent, but it's 10 minutes down the road.
Right.
It's an hour every other week.
And you can easily convert that to something location dependent with just
Absolutely.
a few tweaks. That's not a big deal at all. Yeah.
And it doesn't cost me very much to live. I'm making so much money that I set aside a certain amount of money and said, okay, I'm going to spend this on marketing because I don't live in a very population dense area.
Yeah.
And I know this is going to dry up eventually. So I need to get location independent because I can work with people in other countries, like you talk about,
Right.
LA, New York, London, wherever.
Exactly.
People love this stuff.
Yep.
So I set aside a certain amount of money and I said, even if I burn through this and make nothing off of it, this is going toward marketing.
Okay, that's a perfect segue. So I was going to ask you, up until now, you got a marketing fund now, but all these clients you're talking about, 14,000, 7,000, 14,000. How much money did you spend on marketing to get the money total did you spend on marketing to get those clients?
Okay, let me think. Zero. Yeah.
Zero. No money.
Yeah. I was trying to be cute there. Zero.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's why I figured I want to make sure so people underhear this.
Well,
Okay. So
well,
you spent
Zero. People think it costs a lot of money to start a business. Zero.
technically, it did cost some gas money.
gas money. Fine. That's right.
I mean,
So-
yeah.
Yeah. So you had the cost of business builder. Outside the cost of business builder, what was the total cost you had to spend other than gas? Let's not include that. Other than gas, what was the total cost you had to spend to get these clients and or to implement this stuff? Or were there any? You're thinking very hard, which means
Nothing.
probably zero or close to it.
Well, yeah, probably it's probably zero because it yeah,
I'll just talk with people.
there was
Nope.
no marketing cost.
Yeah, no, okay. You didn't run ads or any of that stuff.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Once I start doing that, yeah.
Yeah, and you should have.
And he should.
At some point, yeah. But yeah, so up to now, all these clients, zero cost other than
Yeah.
the cost of the program. Yeah, cool. Okay.
Which,
that's what I
of
thought.
course, I mean, the first time I gave a speech at a Rotary Club, I went through up in the bathroom before because I'm not, I was terrified.
Really?
Now I get up
No
there
kidding.
and do it. No, I can turn it on and turn it off because I'm not an outgoing kind of person.
And so I heard you say this. I'm going to just to confirm. Billy told you to give a speech at Rotary, and that's literally we got that first, not 14, the 14,000 client or the 7,000, the 14,000 that led to the 7,000. Both. So that one meeting,
Well,
21
it
grand.
wasn't the same- It wasn't the same meeting. The first meeting, I went to probably 8 meetings before I got the $14,000 client. And then there was
okay,
like-
cool.
There were 2 or 3 more because I did what you said don't do. I focused on the project and not marketing. But I had a few people because it's seasonal trying to book these people. Like during the summer, nobody's going to answer you for nothing.
Got it. Right.
But in October, I went to a meeting at 7:30 in the morning. I'm not a morning person. I almost canceled on it. I was like, this is stupid. What am I doing? The sun's not even up. But I went and gave the speech, and there was a guy there. I met him. He put me in touch with a a Vietnam vet who was writing his memoirs. And within 2 weeks, he paid me $7,200.
Really? On top. Okay, cool.
That's the book coaching part. Yeah.
That's a book coaching client. It's another book coaching client in addition to the old man. Okay.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay. See, I didn't even know about this stuff. The book coaching stuff. That's new to me. That's awesome. Holy crap. That's cool.
So it's
So
like you said, you want multiple things to offer to them because not everybody needs the full thing
correct.
provided
Right.
for them. They don't have $30,000-$40,000.
Exactly.
They
Right.
might have like 7,500, and I help them through it. Eventually, I want to do like a
Uh-oh. Come on.
online class and then just a course where they do it on their own and things.
Expanding your product line to other things. Correct. That's what you want to do eventually. At first, you want a few clients to get started, and then you want to do other things. Correct.
Yep.
What would you say to people who are looking at the 90-day Business Builder program and they're on the fence? Because I've said this before with other people. Some people are never going to do this. Some people really want to do this, but they can't afford it yet. And there's other people who are kind of like, God, should I do this? I don't know. What would you say to those people?
Well, you're charging less than you did when I took it, and there are
Yes, we dropped the price. Correct.
there are more classes. Like,
Yes,
I'll tell you,
we jacked up the classes and reduced the price. I forgot. You're right, we did.
within a year of taking that course, I had a little success before, but I didn't know where I was going. I replaced my W-2 income within 10 months. I made the equivalent of what I had made
Really?
after taxes for the last W-2 job I made, which I wasn't making a whole lot of money, but I made the equivalent of that in 10 months, working
10 months.
10 hours a week.
10 hours a week, he more than replaces job income. The entire point of 90-day Business Builder, and even if you never do 90-day Business Builder, because a lot of you won't, and that's fine. The entire point of Unchained CEO, everything we talk about here, Billy and I, everyone else, is to get you free from your stupid 9-to-5 job, which is probably going away anyway. So to get you free, and that's the entire point of this. It's not necessary to get rich. Some of you don't care about that, and that's great. I want you free. Now, if you want to get rich on top of being free, do that too. But you want to be free and location independent, both those things.
And time independent. So that's a different kind of independence. But we just heard Jordan say he works 10 hours a week. That sort of time independence is invaluable. And that is attainable for most of us.
Right. Exactly.
I don't work hard. Like, I'm dressed like this because I'm about to go for a walk on campus to live in a college town. I mean, I'd set my own schedule.
You're not working super intense long hours, right?
Oh, no. I mean, I will eventually once I got some things in store. I'm going to have to ramp up the hours. But now that I got the money to do that, and it makes sense. But for somebody that's on the fence, I mean, how much are you charging now, Caleb?
It's around $5,000.
Oh, yes, do it. I mean,
so it used to be $8,000, then $7,000. Now it's around $5-ish grand, depending on what discounts you qualify for, because most people will qualify for discounts. And then he was in it when we had one meeting a week.
Yeah.
Then we made it 2, and then Billy said, Caleb, we got to make it 3. I'm like, no. And she said, yes. I said, okay. So now it's 3 meetings a week. And actually, it's not 3 meetings a week. It's 4 or 5. We have 4 or 5 unofficial. Yes, it's up to 5 meetings a week live. This is not recording for thousands of less than we used to charge. Yes.
It's actually 6 because we have Peter, Jan, and I can't remember the other one off the top of my head. But we have 3 separate calls that have sprung out of this that participants give out of the goodness of their hearts to share their own specialties. It's amazing. And that didn't exist when Jordan was in the program.
Right. I'm going to put a ticker on the bottom. Hang on. I should have done this a while ago. 90daybizbuilder.com, because it's open now until Monday. And then we have to close it again. Yeah. So your deadline's Monday. I'll put that in the ticker too.
Go rob a bank if you got to. Don't. It's a joke. Unless it's going to put you in the poorhouse, spend the money. Because they're not going to let you fail unless you are just going to fail. There are some people, it doesn't matter what you do for them, they're going to be losers. They're going to be failures all their lives. There's nothing you can do about it. Some people are that way. But if you're not one of those people, and you're probably not, they're not going to let you fail. They're going to set up everything from the very beginning. I had an idea of what I wanted to do, but even if I hadn't, they would have helped me figure it out. They start with the niche. They start with the very basic baby steps and build something. And everywhere along the way, they're saying, hey, no, that's not going to work. Change this. Because they're not going to let you get to the end and say, okay, go make money. It's not like that. It's because they want you to be successful. Because the more successful you are, then here's a secret I think I figured Caleb out. The more money you make, the more of his products and services that you can buy down the line. And he wants
Bingo.
rich.
So I would
Rich.
be, yeah, I want my entire audience to make $100,000 a year or more. That would be, I'd make a lot of money. Correct.
Yeah, I mean, it was within just a few months, I paid for the course and then some.
Yeah.
And if you get in there and you do the work, if you're somebody who wants everything automatically done for you, it's not going to work. But they're going to stay on you and work with you. That's what it's for. As long as you do the work, they're not going to lead you astray. And like I said, there was like one video call per week when I did it. And I'm not a really smart guy. I mean, I'm smarter than the average bear, but I'm not some great businessman. And I'm make more than I've ever made at a job working 10 hours a week. I mean,
You're making more than you ever made at a job working 10 hours a week right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
And if I can
Great.
do like online advertising, I can make even more money.
Yes, you will.
I had to break through the stuff of, oh, it's hard to make money. It's hard to make money. It's not. Now, to
Right.
be a multimillionaire, yeah, you got to put in serious work. But to replace your W-2 income, unless you're making hundreds of thousands of dollars, it's really not that hard. Because I'm
Right.
doing something where you're not supposed to make any money. It's like that. I got a degree in creative writing. Talk about a useless college.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm not out trying to write books. I'm doing things for people that have money. I mean, and they will help you figure out, if you don't know what to do, they're going to help you figure out the niche. They're not going to let you pick a niche like, oh, well, let me, what is your favorite thing? Caleb's like, let's teach gamers how to lose weight. They don't care. Gamers don't care about losing weight. So they're not going to let you do that. They're kind of going to hold your hand through it until you have a viable idea. You can't fail unless you fail yourself. So
I've said that if you do what we show you to do, you'll make money. And the vast majority of the people who don't make money in the program, it's literally because they didn't do anything, or they did something.
That's a fact. The vast majority of people who don't make money don't do anything or do something for a while, and then they bail out, and that's just a fact.
But Jordan is what makes me such a proud business auntie, and there are dozens of other examples, but we're still in touch. I'm still celebrating his wins, and I'm excited to see this video because I haven't talked to him as recently as you have, Caleb.
Oh, cool. That's cool. What was I going to say about that? These are all examples of normal people making this work. He's right. This is not hard. You think it's hard. It's not. Morons make money doing this. A lot of them. And Billie and I met lots of morons who own profitable businesses. It's not hard.
Here's the thing, though, Caleb. That's why we added mindset. So we have Christy Lake, who teaches mindset in the Business Builder twice every month, and she's available on the message boards. Because Jordan's right. Everyone has to overcome some of those mindset issues and self-imposed limitations or self-limiting beliefs or other people's limiting beliefs. And we all have to deal with that, Caleb and myself included, sometimes imposter syndrome, whatever it is. So that's something we've added to the course because Jordan's right. I think he would have benefited from having that earlier. Fortunately, he got that through the coaching staff without a dedicated session. But those are some of the improvements that we've made to make it that much easier.
Yeah, and to reiterate what she's saying, Jordan is a result of Business Builder 2 years ago when we have totally improved the pro. I mean, you can't imagine how many improvements we've made to Business Builder from 2 years ago because we iterate every time this happens. And it's cheaper, and we added more sessions. We have mindset. You almost can't even compare. Business Builder was good 2 years ago. Look what Jordan did with it. And now it's 10 times better. Yeah.
When they stopped, you actually did it. And so here you are. Cool.
Yeah.
This has been great, man. I appreciate you doing this. This is great.
No problem. I mean, I'll sing y'all's praises forever and ever because you helped me.
Cool.
I mean, and further things, I don't mind spending money on down the line on more of your products and services because you proved to me, it's what is the old saying is like, show them you can help them by actually helping them. It's not a scam. It's like you helped me, therefore I trust you.
Cool.
There you go.
Love it. Love it. Thank you, Jordan.
No problem.
All right. Hang on. Let me switch to the next one. We're a little behind schedule, so I'm going to speed this up a little bit. Hang on. This is now Grant. I'm just builder program for a while. One thing I like about you is that you actually go to the meetings. And we talk about this. I'll let you introduce yourself in a second. But we talk about this in the program where
The more you go to the sessions, the more money you tend to make and the more successful you tend to be. So you're one of the people, that's why I'm talking to you, that did it. We like to brag about you and how much money you've made, but why don't you introduce yourself and talk about where you were before you joined the program?
Of course. So hi, my name is Grant Judd. Before I joined this program, I was in software sales. I've been in and around the sales space for the best part of 20 years. And I really, really wanted to start my own business. That was one of my life ambitions. And every time I thought of, is this a great business idea? Immediately I'd start thinking, no, this is never going to work. And you get to that phase where you think of all these ideas and you constantly tell yourself it's never going to work. And you don't know why you're constantly telling yourself this.
Right.
But yeah, anyway, I came across your, do you know, for the life of me, I can't remember how I came across you. It might have been on someone's video log, like podcasting on YouTube. And I read your book and it immediately made sense to me. The whole, obviously your libertarian views and also the way how you run your business and the lifestyle. And then it was just a case when I found out you do a 90-day business builder course, I was like, actually, yeah, this makes sense. This is something I definitely want to try. So yeah, that's my story.
And so to be clear, for people watching, you have never started a business in your entire life, correct? Or is that incorrect? No.
No,
It's the
never
first
started.
business you've ever started.
This is the first business I've ever started, yeah.
So you've been an employee your whole career.
Yeah, my entire career, yeah.
That's what Business Builder is for. And frankly, that's what most of my content is for. Most of my free content here is for just normal people at a job and hate their job and want to be free, because that was me a long time ago.
Same.
Okay, cool. And then you joined the program, and then I don't remember, did you struggle with your niche and struggle with what to do? Because I do remember way back, you were a little nervous on some of the sessions. I do remember that. So I don't remember what parts you struggled with, or did you?
So with regards to niche, the niche, I came up with a niche and I wasn't sure, is this a niche or not? And when we sat down on the team call, you immediately said, no, that's definitely a niche. And I was like, yeah, this is brilliant. I've done it. Then the struggle was that first niche that I came up with. I just couldn't engage with anyone. I really struggled to engage with people. And I later found out that as a niche, they have no issues and they couldn't be bothered to talk to me. And when I spoke, yeah, so but the thing, again, this is what's great about the course. When I spoke to the other guys on the course, we all sat down on a group call and they said, look, Grant, don't pivot massively away from that niche. Try and find a niche within the niche, which until you do on the course, you probably won't understand this, whoever's listening. But immediately I found a better niche. And within a week, I'd had 14 conversations with business owners, immediately found consensus. And then that's when it started to take off for me.
And describe the niche in simplistic terms, the one you're working with.
Yeah, so the niche itself, I'm focusing on domiciliary care companies in the UK that provide really end-of-life healthcare to people in their homes.
Okay, so to be clear, this is how narrow it is. End-of-life elder care facilities in the UK. Nice and narrow. He could even narrow it more, but that's pretty good.
But that is even narrower. So it's not a standard facility. These are the people who provide the service in home. So you don't have to leave your.
Thank you. In home. It's not a facility. Thank you. It's in home services. Yes. Thank you. That went past me. So not elder care, end of life, elder care in home in the UK. You see how narrow that is? This is why I made so much. You'll see how much money he made in a minute. This is why he made money, because he was narrow. And we love healthcare as a niche. Healthcare is probably the first or second best. It's not a niche, it's an industry. Mm-hmm. Niches in healthcare are awesome because that's a huge growth industry for at least the next 25 years as the population.
There's something important to think about here is that we were looking at facilities first. Facilities have lousy margins. They have high turnover and decisions are not made by individuals, right? It has to usually go through a board. Right. They're supervised by medical facilities. There's a lot of politics involved in that. So Grant's pivot was to something, these companies that provide in-home care are usually not affiliated with the major health providers, right? These are small businesses. They don't need to go through 20 people in a board meeting to make a decision. They're able to make those buying decisions. So you can see This is why we call it a pivot, right? So it's a planned small move or a planned larger move. It's not a veer. So he's not just suddenly going a different direction. All he's doing is pivoting a little bit and planning for the next step.
So Jordan pivoted his offering to add a second offering. Grant pivoted his niche, and sometimes that's necessary. And you'll find out what happens. It's good.
That's the niche.
That's it. And we talk a lot in the program about we like healthcare in terms of an industry because healthcare is going to be an explosive growth industry in the next 25 years, especially any healthcare related to people getting older. And that's exactly what you did. So great. No wonder you're making money. This is great.
I listen to your advice.
Yeah. So then you went into that niche. I remember helping you. You worked a lot with Jeff, and I remember, and I remember. Well, I might be getting ahead of myself because you wrote up a few proposals. I remember that part.
Yeah. And
You're
they were
smiling.
all,
what? So talk about that.
Absolute rubbish.
When you first started approaching people for business. So did you get your first few clients from people, those 14 people you talked to during the research, or were those new people you talked to?
These are completely new people.
Completely new people. Okay.
So what I did, I engaged with business owners, and I found that the majority of the niche had this massive challenge about generating revenue. They were really struggling. But they realistically, they weren't on kind of death's door. They were struggling, but they were
struggling, but they were still surviving. Yeah. Okay.
What I quickly found out was a lot of the niche that I'm focused on, domiciliary care companies, they genuinely really struggle to generate revenue, especially in the private care sector. So the bulk of their revenue comes from local authorities. If you're in the UK, you're probably going to find out soon that local authorities are about to go bust, and the winning private care is critical. And they just don't know how to do it. So immediately I found a really, really strong problem within a niche. And that kind of coincided with my background, which has been sales and marketing for the best part of 20 years. So immediately I was up and running. So I came up with a few solutions and they were all absolute rubbish. But this is another benefit of the course. You get expertise telling you, Grant, this isn't going to work. This is why it's rubbish. And you go back to the drawing board, but you also get a lot of help and guidance. And then over time, the solution has evolved as well. The more you engage with the niche and the more you uncover the kind of the peels, the layers of the onion, you find more and more challenges. And all of a sudden you kind of, your service will evolve. It's just natural. It's going to evolve.
Right. And that's typical of people who make money in the program is they start here, but they start making money. It's a slightly different place, which is exactly what you went through. That's perfect. Yeah. Right. And that's very normal. So let's talk about your first few clients. So you got your first client, and I won't tell that story. You tell that story. You made money, but then you had some trouble. Go ahead.
Yeah, the first client, right. So that was, if you think of the timeline. So I started the course in January, and then it was like 3 months. That would have been April, May, June. I had to take about a month out of the program because we had a family loss, and we also had holidays booked as well. And
again, so like George and a bunch of other people, he had a problem in the middle of the 9 days. So there was a several month delay in his results, and he came back in the program and just kept going. So my point is, despite these problems, these guys still made money.
But it wasn't critical in terms of if you're not on the course, you're going to get kicked off. It was a case of I updated you guys. You were like,
let's address that really quick. I forgot about that about you. Right. So you had a family emergency in the course, and did you talk to Jeff and say, hey, I have an emergency? What happened there? How did we manage that?
Yeah, it's awful news. My father-in-law passed away, and I just updated Jeff, and Jeff was like, take as much time as you want out of the course. There's no issues at all. But also, like, you've got a life in the background. So my fiance and I and our son, we had holidays booked as well. And it's like, I'm not going to be here. I'm not going to be here for this date. And it's just the fact you update like Jeff and the rest of the coaches, everyone's absolutely sound about it. It's like, don't worry. Like, they record every session, so you can always catch up with the sessions at any time. So yes, that's basically what happened. So if you take into account, in terms of the timeline, I landed my first client. It was just outside the 90 days. So that's the point I was trying to make. You said that from the start, you're going to generate revenue in 90 days. Yeah, I absolutely I can guarantee if you follow the program and do everything the coaches tell you, you will make money in or around 90 days. You can do it. It's definitely achievable.
So even with this problem, you still eventually got that first client. It's your third client that I want to talk about. The
Yeah,
big
of course.
one.
Okay.
Well,
Yes,
let's lead up to it. So your first client was 5,000 pounds for
yeah.
the
So
contract.
one was in terms of the solution. What I found was that my solution was resonating, but the pricing was a challenge. And again,
Yeah, I remember that with you. I remember the pricing. You were concerned
Yeah.
about the pricing. Yes.
And people were like really interested, but it's like, Grant, this is too much. And obviously there's that kind of trust problem as well. Like, who is this guy? So what I did, I broke the pricing into installments, and immediately I landed my first client by doing that. And I sat down and had really good in-depth discovery sessions with them, went off and built them a growth strategy to design how they're going to attack their region and generate revenue. And unfortunately, what the client never told me, and when I checked the company's house records, this person didn't seem to exist, but they brought in another director. And when I was doing the feedback session with the growth strategy and telling them what to do, the client who hired me was like, yeah, this is great. This is what we need to do. He was kiboshing. He was 50 minutes late to an hour-long call, and then he kiboshed everything I said. Yeah. And I tried to re-engage with them and get the next phases. And yeah, you take it personally, but then obviously when I spoke to the coaches, they go, Grant, don't take that personally at all. You just dealt with the wrong client.
Right. There's nothing with you.
And so then I changed the solution ever so slightly the next time, and I went in more for a coaching type of session to help dom care, to see if this would work. Dom care companies who are still trying to find their first clients, and that resonated really well. But the problem I was finding was that if you've got 20 years sales and marketing experience, trying to get like pass that knowledge onto people who say like ex-nurses or ex-carers themselves is actually really, really, really challenging. So I tried it with one client, and felt like I was pulling my teeth out half the time. Is that just painful? And I think she's gone off, and the confidence that she had when I first met her, she was null and void. Within 3 sessions, she's up and running, and yeah, she's doing stuff. But I just don't want to do that anymore. So then I landed. So when it comes to my third client.
So wait. Let's go back to the first client.
Yeah, sorry.
So first client. Let's talk about numbers. So correct me if I'm wrong. First client, the contract you sold was for 5,000 pounds, right? Yeah. That was the contract, which I'm going to adjust for US dollars for you Americans. So $5,000, that is $6,500 for a contract. Yeah. That's his first client. Okay, just swallow that for a minute. Many of you say, why would anyone give me any money? His first client ever in his life, $6,500 contract. And it gets better from here. But
and he didn't come from this as a background. He has no experience in elder care facilities or end of life care or medical. That's not his world. But it doesn't matter. The service that he's providing is universal. He needs to have a skill that he has or that he can hire for.
He's a good example of, some of you have asked us, well, how do I take the niche and match it with what I like to do or what I know how to do? He's a really good example of this. He had some marketing experience. So he took this crazy, weird, narrow niche in an industry he has never heard of, and he used his abilities in that niche. That's how it works. That's exactly how it works. That contract didn't last because this director thing. So how much did you get paid in your pocket?
I got paid up front, and it was about £1,600. I'm not sure what that's
£1,600. So 600 pounds is $2,000 in your pocket.
Yeah.
And then the next 2 payments, they just kind of ghosted you, right?
Yeah. So they've ghosted me. But then again, look, we don't know what's to happen because it's August in the UK and the whole of the UK seems to come to a standstill. They might come back. I'm not holding my breath.
Right. Not holding your breath. So now here's an important question. Did you say, I was supposed to get 5,000 pounds. I only got 1,600. This sucks. This doesn't work. I'm going to go back to my job.
No, God, no. No.
Okay, good. So you proceeded. No. Failure on the first client or 2 or 3, just like with George, is normal. You fuck up or they fuck it up, or you're not used to it, and that's normal. You keep going, and then you get the big money. See you in a sec. And then you got your second client, which was a smaller client, and that was more of a coaching thing.
Yeah,
right?
that was £777 for free coaching.
777 pounds. So let's convert that to dollars. That's another $1,000 in your pocket. So now you got $3,000 in your pocket from these two oddball clients. Okay.
Yeah.
Then you get your third client, which is I'm excited about. So tell me about that.
Yes, the third client. But so one of the things you're going to learn on the course, and this is something that I've never even thought about, but part of the program is you find where your niche are online. Okay, so are your niche on LinkedIn? Are your niche on Instagram? Are your niche doing wherever? It just so happens my niche seems to live on Facebook, and I've never used Facebook for anything other than wishing people happy birthday and posting the odd picture.
Yeah.
So I sat down with Jeff and I said, Jeff, I'm not sure about this. There's 60,000 people in my niche in this one group. And he was like, Grant, you're an idiot. Get on that group now and start engaging with people. And lo and behold, every deal I've had has come via Facebook.
Really? I didn't know that. Cool.
Yeah,
Awesome.
so I engaged with this person on Facebook. They said, Grant, yeah, we're pretty desperate. Can we have a call? I sat down with them, had a really, really good discovery.
Really quick, to be clear, he's talking, I believe, about Facebook groups, which we do talk about in the program. Facebook groups are fantastic for niches. I mean, I've got two groups myself, so it's a really good place to find a gathering of all your niches is Facebook groups. There's LinkedIn groups too, but Facebook groups are awesome.
Reddit is another really good resource,
On
guys.
Reddit.
Reddit is where people hang out to complain, and it's problems in their job that we're looking to solve. So great resources.
Yeah, and I didn't know that about Grant. All this business he got from Facebook groups. And again, he's no marketing spent.
Session, pitched them, and then 48 hours later, they paid me the first installment for the program.
Well, I didn't know this. Within 48 hours of the first call, they paid you the first installment.
Yeah.
And that was how much? How many pounds?
That was the total contract value is £30,000.
£30,000.
Which in dollars, I'm not sure.
And dollars, that is that's $40,000.
$39,000.
His third client. And within just a few, if you don't count the part of the program where you were not in the program temporarily because your problems, your holidays, your third client is it's $39,000 US, and you don't get all at once. It's an installment thing. So your first installment was how much? Is it monthly installments?
Yeah, it's £2,500.
6,500 or no, 2,500.
It's 2,500.
So that is $3,300, and is that monthly?
Yes, they're going to be paying me monthly, but
$3,300 a month for his third client.
Obviously, there is a risk. They could walk away, they could ghost me. But learning from the prior two customers, the solution already is so much stronger.
I know that. He's gonna get this whole contract because he learned from those first two clients. That's exactly what it's worth.
Yeah. So I built a growth strategy for them. And I've learned from all the mistakes I made in the first client. You know, I've added things in. I've done so much more to make this look like a proper professional document. I've uncovered problems that really desperately they need to resolve, or they're going to probably go under. So they're getting a lot of value for my time, and I'm very positive they're going to carry on that relationship. But yeah, I did it in installments. The reason why is because no one knows me. There's that trust element.
Now, to that point, really quick, that when he gets his fourth, fifth, sixth clients, he can do what Billy and I do and say, I need half up front. Yep. So if it's $39,000, you're writing me a check for $17,000, and then you're writing me a second check a little later, and that's how this works. So that's just a measure of confidence and having done this before. And really quick, I have talked to people, not just about business builder, but other things I've talked about, where you could start a business and get a contract for $39,000, $25,000, $50,000. And people say, you can't do that. If you're a new business owner, no one will give you that cut. There you go. There's one example. It happens all the time.
And the other thing that Grant mentioned is that he was learning. He got paid to learn by those first few clients.
Right.
Did he get paid a lot compared to this new contract? No. But did he get paid to learn? Absolutely, yes. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. A lot better than going to fucking college.
It is, and that's the whole trick.
$1 to learn shit. They pay you and you learn. That's what I like.
That's the trick of entrepreneurship. You only need to stay a couple of steps ahead of your client's actual needs. And that is not that hard to do, and you can learn how to do it.
And he may discuss this, he might, but sometimes he didn't know how to handle the client. Like, what do I tell the client? And he just came to us and said, what do I tell the client? And myself or Billy or Jeff said, just tell them this. Oh, okay. and he just literally would parrot what we told him. He might discuss that.
I know that by doing installments, customers do feel they've still got some sort of.
And I will tell you for a fact, knowing you, is that the next client you get, you can be more aggressive about the installments and getting much more upfront. Instead of a year, you can do 6 months. You can do a big balloon payment up front. I mean, you and I can talk about that offline, but the next client you get is going to be way more than this. So right now you're getting 2,500 pounds a month, which is $3,300 a month. That's from just your third client after you already made 3,000.
Yeah.
And with you, 1 or 2 more clients like this, you're making some really good money. And so this is just, and again, I want to repeat, those of you watching, this is your first business, right? And you're able to do this.
First business. It's the first business.
And really quick, location independent. He can go anywhere in the world and still make this money.
The whole program is definitely the right. This model suits me. There's no. It removes all of the risks. So sometimes you can think of starting a business. You think, oh, that's going to cost me a few £100,000 to do, and you're going to pump all your money into these assets like an IT system of some sort, or building an app. It won't work. This is the right way to do it. Find a niche, find the problem, solve the problem. Find a niche, find a problem, get consensus, solve that problem. You will be up and running.
How much money did you spend total on, outside of Business Builder? How much money did you spend on the business total, do you think, to get these 3 clients?
Oh, Jesus. Well, not much, because give
me a rough estimate. How much money did you spend total on everything? It's probably a pretty low number.
I mean, even the website, that was the most challenging part about the program, was the website for me. I've never built a website before. That's what took the longest part.
Oh, okay, interesting. I know that.
And when I spoke to a friend of mine,
how much that cost you? How much did all the infrastructure cost?
Funny enough, once my mate told me how to do it, he said, Grant, don't design and build, design the website and get someone on Upwork to build it for you.
Yeah.
He found someone for me for like 30, 40 quid. Like that's in dollars.
40 bucks. Yeah. So maybe 60, 70 bucks.
This is it. And so I got a website after following his advice in a week, right? Which should take me a month. I've been in an absolute car crash, tearing my hair out. And then I bought a Microsoft 365 license for about £100. That's it.
That's it. So maybe but all in, it's well less than 300 pounds.
Oh yeah, well less. And then obviously you've got the cost of the course. So I've made back.
Outside the cost of the course, right? You have the cost of the course. And then, because sometimes people ask me that, they'll say, well, I have to sign up for your program. Well, then how much do I have to invest in my business? And my standard answer is less than $300 unless you want to run ads. Now let's mention, and sometimes people don't believe me. Oh, come on, you need more. No, you don't. There you go again. None of these guys spend any money. And that really quick. You didn't run any ads. You didn't pay for any advertising. What's that?
You can if you want to, but
and I say that too. If you have, if some of you have assets, some of you have money to spend, you will get to the money faster in some cases if you run ads. So absolutely, that's great. You don't, and we have a path in Business Builder for paid marketing and free marketing. We do both. And so if you want to do paid, you can do that too. But you don't need to. None of these guys did, and some guys do. But it's optional. You don't spend a damn thing. You didn't do any of that stuff, correct? Or am I wrong?
No, I haven't done any advertising at all. That's not part of the. It will probably come in time when I've got the money in the business to do that. Mm-hmm. But at the moment, it's just simple bootstrapping the business, engaging with people. Fortunately, I found you're going to find, if people are listening in, you are going to find places where your niche are, and it makes it a lot more easy to engage directly. Now, obviously, depending on the niche you're going after, it might be pretty painful. Like sometimes for me, I get people reach out to me, book meetings, and don't show. That's painful. Yeah. But if you've found a more professional niche, people aren't going to behave like that. So you don't need to do like loads and loads of advertising. There's no need for it.
Mm-hmm. This is great. Very happy about this. Final thoughts on the program. What are your thoughts about the program? What would you say to others? People who are on the fence. So there are people who definitely want to do this. There are people who say, I'm never going to do this. And there's people who are on the fence. I want to do this, but I'm not sure. What would you say to that person?
I'd say it's the best investment you'll make. It's the best investment I've made in my professional career.
It
I've
is?
done,
This is the best
without a shadow of
investment
doubt,
you
I've
made in your
done.
professional career.
Oh yeah, definitely the best investment I've
90%.
made. I've been I'm fortunate in my career. I've been sent on sales training courses, IT training courses. Done stupid IT certifications that I've never needed. This is an investment that gets you running your own business. And if you just think about it for a second, if you're in the corporate world and you make £100,000 or dollars is different, but you make £100,000, you pay predominantly about 40% tax, a little bit less because you're on like a scale, right? You make you get paid 100,000, you make 60, right? The taxman takes it all, right? Or a large proportion. When you run your own business, you're paying what, maybe 20% tax on that income?
20% or less, yeah.
Yeah, right. So you've made more, you're working your own hours, and to make £100,000 in your own business isn't as challenging sometimes, or isn't normally as challenging as it is to work in the corporate world.
Correct.
You
It
have
takes
to deal with
less hours to earn the same amount of after-tax income.
Oh yeah, big time. And also
I've said this 10,000 times to make that clear again. When you have your own business, location dependent Alpha 2.0 business, you need to work less hours per week to make the same amount of money or more than you're making in your stupid 9-to-5 job. You are overworking if you have a job. Now, if you want to work 10 hours a day the rest of your life, go ahead. But if you don't want to, you should have your own business and work less hours and make the same money or more money. That's how the math works with both how much you make and the taxes.
it's a lot more enjoyable. And like, obviously being on this course as well, you're surrounded by people that are in the same boat. Like today, I was stuck on something. I reached out on Basecamp. Within 2 minutes, 2 people in different parts of the world, one in Australia, one in London, they immediately responded back to help me, right? So you've also got that network that you can call on. So that's what I'm saying. It's like definitely the best investment I've made. I've always wanted to start my own business. So I was up, a bit unsure. Now that I've done it, I thought, actually, I've done it. I've started something. I've generated revenue. You can't take that away from me. Okay. So yeah, I'd say anyone who's on the fence, just do it. For the price of this course, it's a fraction of doing, say, like a professional accreditation, like, some sort of IT software accreditation or even a sales training course. This is really transferable. This is like a life-changing type investment, not some crappy corporate accreditation. Do you know what I mean? Do you remember back in the day? You probably saw the MCSE. Do you ever remember that?
Oh yeah. I almost did it. I almost did the MCSE back in the 90s.
That was for Microsoft technology, which isn't very good.
And that was $8,000, $9,000 in 1990s dollars. That was a lot of money.
But then it goes out of date every couple of years.
Right.
So yeah, it's a no-brainer. Like for me.
Yeah, anyway. Billy in the program has talked a lot about how this is a one-time thing, one-time set of skills you master. And for the rest of your life, you're going to be making money. You'll make more money through your clients you get in your business. Then you can start your second business and do it again and do it again and do it again. You'll need to learn this stuff once. Cool.
Yeah, I can agree with that 100%.
Great. Well, thank you very much. This has been great. God, there's so much I could say, and we're getting quick on time. Bill, you want to talk? So I want to.
I do. I think the most important thing there are 2 important things that Grant brought up. Number one is the business builder. The business that you build in the business builder is just a byproduct. Honestly, what you're learning is how to go through the process from ideation to getting those first clients. That you're learning the process that you can replicate for any business for the rest of your life, exactly as Caleb said. The other thing that's so amazing is that community that Grant talked about. In how many situations do we have in life where we get a response from anyone in 24 hours in a professional setting, much less having all these other participants jump in eagerly to help you. And that's really the vibe that we have going on.
And we have coaches that are in Basecamp we have 24/7 coverage, excuse me, from the coaches. So you have 24/7 coverage from the coaches, and you have the other community members. And I have never said this publicly. I always say this to business builder people. I've never said this publicly, but this is the truth. And I don't like this, but it's true. When you join a program like this, any program that is similar to this, no program is like Business Builder because we're niched. But a program similar to this, up to 60% of the value you get from a program like this are things you're going to learn from the other people in the program.
Mm-hmm.
up to 60%, because you have access to, we've got about 100 people active in the program right now. These
More.
are all people with different levels of more. These are all people with different levels of experience, and they will help you in addition to us. We'll help you. And I would love to say it's all us, but it's not. It's the other people you get access to in the program, because we have, I could go on and on, but it's not just us. It's also the community, which is as important, if not even, maybe even more important long-term. So you have that too. And if you decide to not do Business Builder, again, you should tie into some sort of community you can tie into the best as you can. Even these live streams, we have this miniature community on Mondays and Tuesdays here. You can ask me questions and things like that.
Caleb, they can always join Founder Sanctum, which is a twice a week open question and answer. And that is for people who own businesses or those who want to make the transition. And that can mean being a freelancer. That can mean opening your own business. But what we do have a program. Go to bosscooperative.com and go to the group coaching. We have one group right now. We're adding more over the next couple of weeks. But if there's something specific that you need help with and you need or want community and coaching, we've got that too.
And that's an ongoing monthly program. So do you pay a flat monthly fee for that? That's something I was doing, and then Billie took it over because she's better at it than I am. And so you have that option too. So just make sure, even if there's a percentage of you who will never do Business Builder, and that's fine. But learn from what we've talked about in this podcast about the things that they did. And you can see in all three cases, they were beginners. They were all nervous and scared. They all had problems with their initial clients, and they kept going. And now they're set. And all three of these guys, plus a lot more. And I said it to George, they're in the phase now where their income is going to fucking take off now. After that first 1 to 3 clients, which is kind of the funky, weird phase where you're like, oh, wow, I can make money now. That's where your income hockey sticks. And that'll happen to all three of them, plus a bunch of people we don't have time to talk about. How much time on average are 90 Business Builder guys working on their business? So I'll give you my quick answer. My default answer when people say, how much time do I need to do this, start a business on the side? My default answer is at least 15 hours per week. You could do it on a little less. You just heard Jordan, he works 10 hours a week. 10 hours a week, and he's making more than he ever made at a job. Billie, what's your answer to that question? You might know more about that.
My answer is around 10 or 15 hours a week.
Okay.
There are different points in this program where each person, at some point in the 3 phases, each one of us has a little harder time than at other phases. So for many people, it's niche, takes a little bit longer. Totally fine. But
Grant had trouble with his website. You heard Grant say that he had trouble with his website. Billie's right. Every person has trouble with one of the segments. It might be marketing. It might be the logistics. It might be the niche. It might be, there's be one area that, and when you start your own business, there'll be one area, and I was like this too, where you're kind of going to fuck it up a little bit and there'll be some delays. That's okay. You push forward. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I think that's it. It really depends on your trajectory, what your niche is, what you need to learn about your niche, and the different assets you need to put in place. So the simpler it is, the less time you need to spend on it.
Correct.
The more you go through the exercises in their entirety, that's really important. Like if we say watch the video and do this exercise, just do the exercise. You might not want to, you might not see the correlation, just freaking do it. Trust your business, Auntie. It will come back to play later, even if you don't see the importance right now.
We can hang out for another 10. Well, I can hang out. I don't want to.
I have 7 minutes.
7. Okay, I can hang out for a little more than 7, but not much. So if any of you who are live, you can throw some questions down there, business questions for Billie or myself. There's 2 in there. I'm thinking about a business teaching clients how to say no to people. Is it niched enough? You're talking about the niched, what you're offering. You're talking about what kind of people would you teach to say no to, number 1. Number 2, you are putting the cart before the horse. Mm-hmm. Do you know that this niche of people have trouble saying no? You don't know, you're guessing. So what we would do if you joined our program, we would say, nope, you're not going to do that because you don't know if that's their problem. You're going to define a narrow niche of type of person, which in your case would be B2C, ask them what their problem is, and then get feedback and help them with that. And it probably isn't, I don't know how to say no. It might be I'm having trouble managing my time. It might be I'm too scared to speak up for myself. It might be, who knows what it is. You identify the problem second, not first. And again, most business owners, they say, I'm going to help people fix this. Well, How do you know it's going to work? It might not.
The other thing that I would say is that I would never recommend that your first business be business to consumer, unless there are very certain
Really
circumstances.
hardcore about this.
Yes, but in general, how are you going to find those people to validate their problems? How are you going to find those people to sell to them? It is so much more expensive, and it's a much longer play to get individual consumers than it is to get companies as your consumers. Now, the inverse is true as well. If you're going after like a government entity, a large hospital system, that's going to be hard to get your foot in the door as well. So my advice to everyone listening is go for small and mid-sized businesses. They need the most help, and they don't know what they don't know.
I don't disagree. There are some people who join Business Builder and they really are gung-ho on doing something B2C, which means business to consumer. That's fine. I'm not as hardcore about it as Billy is, but I don't disagree with anything she said. I got started with what exactly Billy said. I went from zero to a six-figure income in 1990s dollars when I was a dumb kid with no college degree and no high school diploma. And that's how I got started. It was B2B, and it was small, medium-sized companies was my client base. So she's right.
Comparatively speaking, it's an easy win.
It is easier. Yeah, that's true. You're right. It is. What I say to people is, if you don't know or don't care about who you service, B2B. If you just have this big, strong passion to help, then maybe B2C. But most people don't do it.
Here's what we're going to say about your passion. And I'm so sorry to say this, but this is Auntie Billy's reality check.
She's right.
Say
it.
Fuck your passion. Sorry.
Yep.
What you want to do is probably a dumb idea. And I'm not trying to be a jerk. I've just seen it too many times. I've made these mistakes myself. I was a professional equestrian, which is a horse person. Do you know how you make a small fortune in horses? You start with a large one. No joke.
That's funny.
Right? So a lot of what you want to do is I want to help personal trainers. I want to do Brazilian jiu-jitsu trainers because I love my jiu-jitsu class.
Right.
You know how many fucking times I've heard that. Oh, I want to help people lose weight or be more confident.
Oh, yeah, we hear that all the time. God. Yes.
That's awesome. It is awesome. It is noble. And I'm not making fun of that. But if you're here to learn how to start a business, your first business monetizes your passion business because your passion business is not as likely to get off the ground quickly or to make as much money. So acknowledge that and say, this first business that is maybe going to be business to business, which isn't what I anticipated, is the thing that allows you to do your pet projects or your charity projects. But you first have to be making that income. And why do it the hard way and do it in reverse? Doesn't make any sense.
There's a reason, I've said this many times publicly, there's a reason why my primary income stream is not writing fantasy fiction, which is what I would do if it was all about my passion. Now, there's a lot of passion I have in Alpha Male 2.0. There's a lot of passion I have in Unchained. That's also true. But I got even more passion for writing fantasy fiction, but that doesn't make money. So I don't do it as an income source. I do it as a hobby. I've written 3 novels you're never going to read. I have done it. So I do it as a hobby. And at some point I'll publish some crap and I'll probably make $40 and I won't care. Now that doesn't mean you can't have zero passion. You can take some of that passion, kind of what Grant did. Grant took some of his passion, what he likes and what he's good at, figuring out how to market a business from his software sales stuff. And he put it into a niche that has a lot of money. So you can do that. Right. I've just started companies before and I've just begun an A2 company and have clients. Cool. I can't afford Business Builder right now, but would you recommend I go back and buy it after or get coaching or similar? Well, you should do Billy's Founder Sanctum. That's what I would do. You can do that right now.
And it's really inexpensive. It's less than $150 a month for 8 live coaching sessions. So it is very affordable because it's made for people like you who are in this position, don't quite know what you need. It's a great resource.
Great. That's what I would recommend. You could also do coaching with both Billy and myself. Billy's pretty expensive. I'm very expensive. So you could do that or do it later. You got several options. Business Builder is not really meant for people who already have an active business with a number of clients. If you're like Jordan, you got 1 or 2 and you don't know what you're doing, then Business Builder might be okay. but it's business builders for beginners. So, yeah. So coaching or Founder Sanctum.
Oh, so here's an interesting question. Any upcoming 90-day business banner plan for Paraguay? So we don't do the business builder in Paraguay. That's just location independent.
It's location independent. So come to
We
Paraguay
do-
and get on Zoom.
We do the residency in Paraguay. And this is literally your last week to sign up for that if you want to get into the October trip. It's
What are the dates for that really quick? Billy, what are the dates for that?
October 20th until November 2nd in Asuncion, Paraguay.
Okay.
We have reduced the price a little bit. It is now less than $9,000, which includes your lodging and a couple of cool activities.
Yeah, that
And
includes
it's
your
the-
hotel for 2 weeks, to be clear. Yes.
And it's not even just a hotel. It's an apartment in a really nice apartment building with,
Over there.
security. And it's a couple blocks from Caleb, essentially next to the mall. But that way you have your own apartment so you can live like a local, which is, I think, much more valuable than parking your carcass in a hotel.
Right. And if you're already here in Paraguay, I'm doing a mastermind in Paraguay. It's on the website on September 17th. So in about like a month, 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
That's a mastermind with me. And then Billy's Get Resi event is, say the dates one more time. October what? 20th?
October 20th until November 2nd.
Yes.
And that is in Paraguay. We also, this is the last week to sign up for those of you interested in Mexican residency. We are doing that in Cancun from the 7th until the 18th of October. And that one includes your, in that one, we're staying at an all-inclusive resort.
And that's cheaper because Mexico. Mexico's cheaper for residency, right?
Yeah. So there are different standards. For Mexico, you need to hit certain income thresholds. For temporary residency, it's just under $5,000 US per month. For permanent residency, it's just under $8,000 per month. We can talk more about that. Paraguay does not have those income requirements, but you do need to get your federal background check done, and that can take a bit of time, which is why if you want to do it this year before the elections, before the world really falls apart, you should definitely check it out. You can find links on Caleb's website as well as on the Boss Cooperative website. Caleb, could you put Boss in the ticker? I know Aaron in the chat has asked where they can find Billy's program.
Boss. Billy's stuff is Boss. Let me put that in the ticker. Where's my ticker? Hang on.
So we have another thing for those of you who haven't heard about it yet, because I am ridiculously stoked about this, and registration is open until the end of September. But at the same time as I'm in Cancun for the Mexican residency, we are running a business intensive retreat. So for those of you who have a business or those of you who are thinking about starting one, this is the place to come. I'm flying in coaches from 4 different countries. And they're doing marketing, IT, sales, and mindset, plus myself. Jeff might come. I'm still working on that. Caleb might come. Still working on that. It's less than $4,000, and it includes your food, lodging, alcohol, fun activities, and from selected cities all around the world, it includes your flights as well. So it's from most major cities.
Less than $4,000, but includes your flights and your hotel and your food and your alcohol
and coaching. So, I mean, like 6 hours of coaching every day. Working.
See, that makes the coaching free. That makes the coaching free. Yeah. The coaching is the stuff you go learn. The reason you're going is basically free. It honestly.
Exactly.
I've been to Cancun.
We're never going to do it this cheap again. But as a business auntie, I've wanted to do this for freaking ever. And it's a really good way for me to get my friends who are the coaches, as well as our participants together to have a really good time and to learn outside of a classroom. Because those of you who know me know how much I freaking hate sitting in a classroom or a lecture hall to learn. It's just not, it's not.
What are the dates for that again? What are the dates of the Cancun?
Cancun Learning Intensive is the 6th until the 12th of October. Includes flights, includes your food, includes your coaching, and a couple offsite activities, including snorkeling and the Explore Fuego Adventure Park for less than $4,000 US, and it's tax deductible.
bosscooperative.com. If you're watching the video, it's in the ticker, just Boss Cooperative. That's how you spell cooperative. That's all of Billy's events too. There's also Billy's events are also at my page. We duplicate each other's events. So that's at calebjones.com/events.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have a whole big plan for next year, which Billy is working on now because she has my schedule now for
Yeah.
Paraguay and the US and a bunch of other shit. But more news on that coming.
And we're working on something for Australia and for probably
I
the
didn't
UK as well. So yeah.
UK
And if
definitely. UK, I'll do that.
If you guys want to see myself, Caleb, or any of the other coaches in your city, send us a message. Again, you can send it to Caleb, to myself, submit it in our websites, submit it in the chat, submit it where you're watching this video. Let us know where you'd like us to come, and we'll definitely consider putting an event together in your location.
Do you need to go or are you good?
I need to jump off now, guys. Thanks for dealing with the spotty internet. And thanks. I'll see you guys next week. I'll be hanging out with Caleb again. So I'll see you then.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, sweetie.
All right. Bye.
Boy. All right. I will hang out for a few more minutes. I'm learning a lot of Spanish words here in Paraguay. Minutes, ahora, sangre. I went and donated sangre this morning. That's blood. If you donate blood regularly, you will literally never get a stroke. I will never die of a stroke. I will never have a stroke because I donate my blood every few months. That's a fact. And you don't want to get a stroke. Heart attacks, one thing. Those suck. Strokes are even worse. You don't want that. And I'm not going to have one. Okay. A few questions here and then I got to go. Where are we here? Let's see. Okay. You already asked that question. Pensacola, Florida. Pensacola, Florida for an event. I think Billy might have an event in Florida. Did she? I don't remember. Go to Boss Cooperative. BossCooperative.com, go to events and hit that. I think she might. I don't remember. Billy has a lot more events in the U.S. because she's still living in the United States. And I'm not. So, okay. I think that's it for questions. I'm going to, okay, well, there's one more thing I was going to tell you before I left. Well, I'm trying to remember. 90-day business builder, tax deductible. You can make payments. You're able to make payments. 90-day biz with a Z, bizbuilder.com. Your deadline to sign up is Monday. You don't want to wait that long because you have to schedule your phone call. And we're going to get you into the system. So you don't want to wait till Monday night, which is the deadline. Some people do that. They get the phone call like Monday night or Tuesday morning. And then our phone call guy's like, can we let this guy? I'm like, no, the deadline's passed. I'm sorry. We can't. He's got to wait till, next time we do this. So you don't want to, if you want in on this, I just gave you 3 examples. We have a lot more examples of that. Of guys who are just like you, who have jobs, never started a business, are nervous, don't know what to do, and they make real money pretty fast. I just gave you 3 of them. I just bought the SMIC Vault and the other bundle. Is there an order you recommend us to go through the programs, those of us who have little or no business experience? No, because everyone is different. It depends on what your priorities are. So the SMIC Vault and the bundle has my Alpha 2.0 stuff in there too. So you look at what part of your life is bothering you the most. Is money bothering you the most? Job, money, income, finances, investments, things like that. Is 5 flags bothering you the most? You just can't stand living in our country, which is kind of how I was in 2021 when I left the United States. Or if you're a man, is your woman life bothering you the most? Which one's bugging you the most right now? Focus on that first. Get that up and running to a certain point where you're happy, and then attack the other ones. Which is exactly what I did with my life. When I was a young man, I was poor. I've talked about how I would wait 120 days before I paid my electric bill because they shut off on day 121. So I paid on day 120 because I couldn't afford to pay it sooner. I couldn't afford to put gas in my car. I said, I can't live like this. I got to make money. And so I did. And then later after my divorce, I was like, I don't want to be a beta male pussy the rest of my life and not have sex with beautiful women. And so I'm going to figure that out. So I figured that out. That's on my other channel, Alpha Male 2.0. We can talk about that Wednesday. So that's what I did. So that's what you want to do. All right. Cool. All right. We've been going over 2 hours. I don't normally do that. 90daybizbuilder.com. Your deadline is Monday. I'm going to let you guys go. If you want to join us for the Alpha Male 2.0 live stream, that will be this Wednesday at 1 p.m. Unchained CEO is always Mondays at 1 p.m., or you can listen to this as a podcast. If you prefer the audio, you go to Caleb Jones, that's C-A-L-E-B as in boy, calebjones.com/podcast. If you want the Alpha Male 2.0 podcast, that is alphamale20.com/podcast. Cool? Cool. All right, guys. By the way, one thing. You can do this. Business builder or not, you have the ability to start your own location-independent business and make several $1,000s a month location-independent, which will allow you to quit your fucking job and leave your collapsing Western country, or at least spend more time abroad. You have the ability to do this. I just showed you 3 guys who thought they didn't have the ability, and they're doing it right now. You have the ability. Okay? Have fun. Bye.